What up, everybody? Power Book 2 Season 4 picked up right where Season 3 left off at Noma's warehouse right after the shootout with Tariq and Brayden escaping. Noma was on the warpath this episode and sent the Tejadas and Effie to kill Tariq and Brayden and later put a $100,000 bounty on each of their heads. While this was going on, Monet was in the hospital fighting for her life after being shot by Tasha St. Patrick in a drive-by in the season 3 finale. Monet also had a dream while in a coma where she saw Lorenzo and Mecca and then Zeke. We got our introduction to Anya Covington this episode. No one was trying to get her on a plane, but Tariq and Brayden shot up the runway, and this forced Anya to come home with Noma. Anya was also still grieving the death of her father, Francesco Lombardi, and has a large trust coming to her when she turns 21. After Tariq and Brayden's failed attempt to get Anya, Tariq called Davis for help, but Davis refused to help him because his law license had just got suspended and he no longer had client privilege. But later in the episode, after Noma came to Davis and offered him to sell out Tariq and Brayden for 200 bands, he contacted Tariq and let him know that they need to get out of town because of the bounty on their heads. This episode, Kane attacked Trace Weston trying to get Brayden's location, and Drew kidnapped Becca to try to get to Brayden and Tariq. This caused Robert Weston to disown Brayden completely at the end of the episode. After Tariq found out about the bounty from Davis, him and Brayden went to Stansfield to get a bag of money to flee town. But at Stansfield, there were several hitters looking for them, as well as Junior Young, who got the flash drive from Sachs at the end of Season 3. Tariq and Brayden bumped into Junior, who then got into a shootout with one of Noma's hitters. And after Junior killed him, Brayden hit Junior in the back, and Tariq was able to make a truce with Noma by killing Junior. Tariq also grabbed the flash drive after killing Junior, but Noma only agreed under the condition that Tariq and Brayden were to get out the game. Then we got our introduction to Don Carter, a crazy cop whose wife has been murdered. He got approached by Paz Valdez leaving the cathedral, and she sent him after Tariq St. Patrick for killing her son. Episode 2 started after a couple-week time jump, with Carter and his task force busting the Russians' drug supplier. Noma immediately saw this report on the news and wanted to fill that vacuum. Tariq and Brayden were back on campus, living as normal broke college students as the new term was beginning. Tariq was now having to work 3 jobs to cover the part of his tuition that the financial aid didn't cover after losing his trust in the Ponzi scheme in Season 3. Brayden wasn't actually back in school, just living in Tariq's dorm because he was pretty much homeless and now working real estate for his cousin. Monet and Kane were trying to figure out who shot Monet, while Drew and Diana were being careful not to get exposed. Monet's cousin Janet was also now staying with Monet to help nurse her back to full strength. Effie had an opportunity to do an interview with the Stanford Robotics Program's admission office, but got detoured when Noma sent Kane to make a deal with the Russians, because Monet messed things up by showing up when Noma met with them. The Russians agreed as long as they only dealt with Effie. Brayden got his first look at Elle singing on stage, and when he went to introduce himself to her, Carter stepped in to talk to Tariq to introduce himself. Then he also let Tariq know that Tasha was about to get kicked out of WITSEC. So Tariq went to check on Tasha in WITSEC in the town she's staying at her job at Shop Depot. Before leaving, Tariq jumped the store manager in the parking lot for harassing his mother. And on the way back to New York, Tariq's car that he got from 2-Bit broke down, and he had to call Brayden for a ride back, when the two decided to say fuck Noma and get back in the game anyway. But they needed money to do this, so when they got back to New York, Tariq used his spare key to steal his Porsche back from 2-Bit. Then he went to talk to Monet about her shooting and let her know about Kate Egan saying that she dropped off the letter with Tommy's address. And the episode concluded with Diana finding out that she was pregnant and Obi getting arrested by Don Carter. Because either though Tariq got the flash drive, Junior must have made a copy because Carter's task force was able to find out about the green cards. Episode 3 started off with Tariq and Brayden both selling their cars to get the re-up money to get back in the game. Then Tariq went to meet up with Pinky and Monet because they got Pinky to look into what happened with Kay Egan. But Pinky said that it looked like nobody had been home for a minute. Obi had now been in the custody of Don Carter and the NYPD all night. And because Noma couldn't get in touch with him, she had Kane do his obligations and sent Drew to his apartment to see if he was there. This was beginning to cause problems with Monet because she was starting to feel like Noma was trying to take her family from her, and Noma had just got done telling Monet that she wasn't needed at work, only to text both Drew and Kane in the middle of talking to Monet. When Drew got to Obi's apartment, he was greeted by Obi's brother, and on the way out, Obi's brother mentioned how Obi's company got him his green cards and how thankful and grateful he was. This cost Obi his life later in the episode when Drew revealed this to Noma and they figured out that Tariq got Obi's brother the green card through Rashad Tate. This episode we got our first introduction to Zion when he was introduced to Tariq and Braden to be their new plug through Davis. Davis had represented Zion in a RICO case back in the day, and Zion was also familiar with both Ghost and Tommy Egan. Zion also owns his own fight club. But Tariq and Braden were 50 bands short, and even if Zion did want to cut them a break, all his product was spoken for. So Tariq set in motion a play to take one of his distros named Roman off the board by telling Effie he was selling on her turf. When she reported this back to Noma, Noma sent Kane to take Roman off the board. So Kane had his crew light Roman's product on fire. This caused Carter's task force to get the alert, and they ended up arresting Roman. Rashad Tate's brother Kamal also got connected with Carter in his task force this episode because they brought him in to question him about his brother's connection to Tariq when they got the call about Zion's product. So Kamal forced them to let him get involved. Braden started getting closer to Elle this episode, and she got him to try some coke, something we saw Tommy do a lot in Power. After Zion compared Tommy and Braden earlier in the episode, Braden also figured out that the new way they would move their product would be through the No Lies clothing brand merch and booking gigs for Elle's rap group. Kane started off this episode after spending the night at Effie's dorm after she helped him out with the Russians the episode previous. But their fling ended quickly when he figured out it was Tariq who told Effie about Roman, and after Effie saw Kane and Noma getting close. This led to Kane and Noma hooking up at the end of the episode before Kane headed to Monet's for a family dinner. And again, like most Tejada dinners, this one went wrong too. Pinky sent Tariq the footage of Diana in the red wig delivering the letter to Kate with Tasha's address. Then she forwarded it to Monet, who also let Kane see it. This set the stage for episode 4, with Drew and Diana on the run and Tariq and Kane and Monet on the warpath. The start of the episode, Kane and Tariq actually agreed for once when they told Monet that Drew and Diana violated and that they had to go. Kamal Tate questioned Roman after his arrest the episode prior, and Roman gave up his connect, Marcus Zion Washington. But when Tate brought this info to Carter, Carter sent Tate to question Tariq instead. Because while Monet and Tariq were on the hunt, Carter was playing the divide and Carter game by saying it was Tariq who shot Monet. Diana and Drew initially checked into a hotel to hide, but Diana used Monet's credit card to pay for the room. So Monet quickly tracked them down and then pistol whipped the hotel clerk to get the room number. But Diana pushed Monet down, who was still recovering after being shot, and they escaped with Drew's car getting shot at by Kane. All this was also captured on the hotel security footage. Drew and Diana then planned on getting out of town, but they had to get money first. So Drew dropped Diana off at Salim's, but when Drew went to get the money, it was gone. But Kane was there waiting for him instead. But Drew was able to get the gun from Kane when Kane started getting emotional and escaped again. Kane then had to turn his attention to helping Noma, because he was now responsible for replacing both Obi and Mecca, and Davis had told Noma about an event where she could talk to a man named Wiley Adams about establishing her jet part business in the States. At this event, we also got an introduction to his aide, Kevin Grant. Keep him in mind because he also made an appearance in season 1, and personally, I believe he's connected to Keisha and her son, Cash Grant. By the time this episode happened, Braden and Elle were now hooking up, and he was now pretty much sleeping in her dorm room at night and living at Tariq's dorm room during the day. Braden was still doing coke with Elle, and then he went on to tell her about their business and how they were planning to sell their product through the No Lies merch table. Diana had to wait on Drew so long at Salim's, she had to end up telling him that she was in danger, and he gave Diana the keys to his parents' car to lay low at their house in Greenwich. The problem was Tariq had Pinky watching Salim's, and he saw Diana go in there, but never saw her leave because she left through the back. Tariq then showed up at Salim's after Diana left, and Salim gave him Diana's location. Tariq was about to leave, Salim went for the gun, and Tariq killed Salim and just left him there. Salim had said his parents were out of the country for another month when he gave Diana the car. By this time, one of Caden's soldiers found Drew about to rob their family stash spot, and Kane showed up to kill Drew right when Monet called him and told him to stop after she had just had a flashback of Drew's first kill that gave her a change of heart. Because of that, Monet had to go to Greenwich to save Diana before Tariq got there. When she arrived, Tariq had the gun pointed at Diana, and they got Tariq to spare her life by letting him know that she was pregnant with his child. Tariq ran off and went to the club they were moving product at that night, only to see Noma's daughter, Anya, at the club and introduce himself to her and offered to buy her a drink. Episode 5 picked up where Episode 4 left off, with Tariq and Anya leaving the club after drinking all night and hooking up. The next morning, Tariq got Anya's number. Braden stayed at Elle's dorm again, and in the morning, when Elle woke up bumping coke, she revealed to Braden that she suffers from sickle cell. After Anya left Tariq's, she went back to her apartment where Noma was waiting for her. When she was looking for her keys in her purse, a bag of coke fell out that she bought at Tariq's concert the night before. And Anya went on to tell Noma that she bought the coke at an underground party at Stansville. When Noma confronted Effie about this, and Effie said it wasn't her selling at the party, they both knew it was Tariq back in business. After telling Tariq she was pregnant with his child the night before, the next morning, Diana and Monet also let Drew and Kane know, and Kane told Diana that if she had that baby, it would be the worst mistake she made in her life. Tariq also let Braden know that Diana was pregnant with his child the next morning, and Braden convinced Tariq to at least go talk to Diana. When Tariq went to talk to her, he got hit with even worse news that she wants everyone who's going to be in her child's life to be clean. At Tariq and Braden's next party, Noma and Kane showed up with the intent of killing Tariq. But because Tariq invited Anya to the event, she walked in just in time, and Tariq walked up to Anya with Noma and Kane walking behind him and telling Noma that he has to put a cap at the age of his parties, forcing Noma to leave with Kane and Anya. When Tariq got back into the party to tell Braden about what happened, he saw Braden doing lines, and he snapped on him and called Elle an addict. This caused Elle to spike Tariq's water with acid the next day at the candy shop. When Tariq was hallucinating, he had 3 visions. First of Kane killing him at his penthouse while he was holding him and Diana's son. Then he was surrounded by a wall of bricks, and Diana was yelling at him, "You promised me you would get out," before shooting him. Then Tariq was reliving the Club Truth scene where he shot Ghost from another perspective. While Noma was at dinner discussing her legit business with Wiley Adams, Zion showed up and interrupted it after being told by Braden earlier in the episode who was supplying the Russians after Carter busted their old connect in episode 2. So Noma went on to talk to Kane about Zion, and Kane and Noma showed up at Zion's fight club to work things out. But when Zion got disrespectful, Kane challenged Zion to a fight in his own ring. Kane was winning the fight, so Zion hit Kane with brass knuckles and got disqualified. After Noma got home, Davis showed up and let her know that he worked things out with Wiley Adams, and then Noma and Davis hooked up. While Noma was busy dealing with other things, Monet and Drew were planning on robbing one of her shipments. When they were doing this, they were followed by Carter and his task force, and when they finished doing the robbery, Carter and his task force busted on the scene, and it was revealed that they were dirty. Their one rule is that no innocents get hurt. This is based on Carter's wife Denise, who was a nurse, who got killed. Then they killed the guy that Monet and Drew were with, saying that he had killed an innocent boy on a train. Then they let Monet know they were going to start taxing her 35%. After Tariq's hallucination, he said that he had to become the apex predator to get to the top of the game and control the board and become untouchable. And that started off with Tariq texting Anya to see if she was busy and making plans. But the problem was, when he revealed his plan to Diane at the end of the episode, she wasn't feeling it. And doubled down about everyone who's going to be around her son's going to need to be clean. And she meant it. And she also said that she plans on naming her son Lorenzo after her father. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.